Having a quorum, I'd like to initiate the RTM Finance and Budget Committee meeting. Let me go get the agenda, which at one time I had. Here we go. All right. First order of business is discuss and take action on the resolution to approve the purchase of concession equipment for $9,200. Do I have somebody moving that?
So
I
moved.
see Jenny. I see a second with Lisa. Just a little background and then we can go. If you recall last year, the initial budget for Weed Beach concession was $30,000. Jamie asked for $5,000 to be done for a study. The study was completed. We said in our report that when they had the numbers, come on back. So they're coming back. Now, usually an amount of $9,200 would typically be paid by the Board of Finance contingency or out of the capital reserve funds. However, since the RTM did defer this, it's coming back to us. That being said, I do want to remind everyone that we deferred $25,000 for the purchase of equipment for Weed Beach. This is the purchase of equipment for both Weed Beach and Pear Tree Point, and it's under $10,000. Now, kudos for them for getting it down to under $10,000, but kudos to us for deferring it as we did. I'm going to ask, but Jenny can't answer this question. You're not allowed. So if you saw that one of the pieces of equipment that they're looking to possibly repair in the future is, let me see if I have that again. Give me a second. Was the Bain Marie. So by a show of hands, how many people know what a Bain Marie is? You're not allowed to, Jenny, quiet.
Wasn't she an actress on the Dick Van Dyke Show?
I think so, probably.
Can you tell us what it was? And
That was Rosemary.
That was
Oh,
Rose,
thank
yes.
you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yes, Rosemary. Got it.
Yeah. We're dating ourselves, even though
Sorry.
it's back on television. So yes, I did tell it what it was, but that was because I thought somebody might ask. And Jenny, I'm assuming you already knew.
I actually did not know what that was, but
Oh
I
my
did after
goodness.
you. I know. Yeah, that was.
Well, you're not
I learned
alone
something.
because I looked it up to see what it was, and then once they showed what it was, I said, "Oh yeah, well, I use that." So, but I had a conversation with Monica McNally earlier today, and she knew exactly what that was, which is very impressive. So, anyway, are there any questions, comments, or other things on this? I will say that they have two bids. It's a percentage of total sales for McGuane, Pear Tree, and Weed Beach, based upon what both bids anticipate, and we're not going to get into the details because it hasn't been decided. Based upon what both bids are projecting for the sales, unlike the prior resolution, this pays for itself in 1 year.
Hey, Jack.
Yep.
Just one comment, and I know we're going to talk about the buddy system later, but this is a topic where Jenny and I met with our buddies on the finance committee, and I'd say we had a very good debate. They differed with us, and just so that as we lead into the buddy discussion, it is good to have the conversation and a reminder that sometimes the RTM can disagree. And I think in retrospect,
And be right.
we were right.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a
My
reminder.
report, and I've spoken to a couple members on rules. Our report on F&B is going to mention this, why it's back, where we were correct, and also mention a couple of other things that were there. I mean, quite honestly, we reduced the Board of Finance contingency by 100,000. Jamie and Jen did an analysis to see only once in the last 5 years it was 200,000, and they reduced it by 150, which I'm grateful because we don't have to reduce it. But that was another area that we were right. And as I mentioned, the first item on the 100,000 reduction of adding to the town hall renovation and maintenance, which currently has about $195,000 in it, would have had 295,000. Based upon conversations of Kate and Jen during the capital subcommittee, is now decided that that account shouldn't be more than 35,000 at any one time. So again, something that we were correct in our analysis. So I'm doing that to rev up the troops before we start this budget.
And they're gonna come back and say to you, given the high price of what they paid for us, that it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, any questions or other conversation on this?
I have one, just a comment, and it's probably not much to discuss right now, but Bob, and you and I haven't had a chance to really talk about this. I don't have a problem with the number for sure. I'm just curious with all the, to put money into the Pear Tree Point Beach kitchen when they're not renovating the bathroom because they want to wait to see if there's going to be redevelopment. I'm looking forward to understanding why some improvement is okay, but other improvement is not okay. And that's just more of a comment for like raising a flag of like, why are they putting some money here, but not another, like I know that the bathroom is also up for discussion.
I think that's a very good point, and I can't answer for the Park and Rec Commission.
Yeah.
But I do believe that since the commission still wants food service there, that buying the existing equipment in both facilities probably was helpful. And then I'm gonna call on Adele. I see you're online. Do you want to add anything to that? Adele?
You're muted.
Unmute.
Thank you. I'm
There you
unmuted now. Okay, too busy trying to get the video up. Well, I think you put it very nicely. The point is that we have no concession if we don't own the equipment. That's the reason why we're buying it, not because it's fancy dancy. And I might beg to differ with you. First point of order, but I'm not going to re-litigate that. As I keep telling Jack, I'm not going backwards, we're going forward. $9,200 for all of the existing equipment in whatever shape it's in that will last for a few years is a very good buy. There you are.
No question. I wasn't disputing that. It was just more a question of, I know that also there was some talk about doing some improvements to the bathroom to get it like, so I'm just more concerned, and we can talk about it later.
Well, that's more of a 21-22 budget discussion. This is a whether we're going to buy the concession equipment, whether we're going to have concession this summer or not.
Got it. Thank you.
And I do want to ask. Go ahead.
Can I just say, there's also a difference between equipment and like fixtures that are installed, I would imagine, when you're talking about what constitutes an improvement. Just putting stuff in a room doesn't improve the room.
Okay, I do want to, I want to get off the bathroom because that's not before us.
Correct.
And so I don't want to go down that path. But I do want to reiterate that in conversations we had with Kate, it was not that we were against the purchase of the equipment. At the time it was originally presented, there was no return on investment, and we were going to have to call it a quality life decision because how the fees were then structured to what the cost was wasn't positive. So we did tell Kate, we're in favor, but we just don't like your numbers. And apparently on the numbers, we're right. So are we ready to vote on this? Okay, I'm going to do a reverse. Are there any no votes? Hearing none, are there any abstentions? Hearing none, I'm assuming everyone is in favor. Is that correct?
That's 14 yays, Jack. That's unanimous.
Okay. See, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next item on our agenda. This is discuss and take action on the amendment to the CT Green Bank agreement that was originally signed in 2014. At the time of its initiation, the Green Bank thought that the investors would be more inclined if the municipalities were actually collecting the payments. At this time, they have grown sufficiently that, and the investors want their money a little bit quicker than what it goes from municipality to the Green Bank to the investor. So they're going to be doing it themselves. They're looking for us to agree to the amendment. I've spoken to Wayne. He has no problems with it. In addition, we really don't have an option here. I did ask why the Board of Selectmen did not take action on this. And as it turns out, in the original agreement, the Green Bank was not interested in a council or Board of Selectmen, but in fact had requested that the legislative body agree to the 2014 agreement. As such, we're the ones who were responsible for agreeing to the amendment. Louisa, do you want to give a brief background on the PACE and Greenback? I know Mark, I can't see everyone, but
Yes,
if Mark is here, he also has knowledge of it. But
yes, just
Louisa, can you give?
yes,
Go ahead.
can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just a little bit, I'm sorry for the quick notes. I just try to write something for everybody. And what I think is the Connecticut Green Bank is one of the best managed banks that the purpose is basically their strategy is to accelerate the deployment of clean energy technologies in conjunction with the private sector. So the idea was, is not basically, it was before probably time ago, it was to provide subsidies for financial institutions to lend to companies to start making improvements towards the clean energy. But there has been some changes, and and it's basically a lot of Yale University staff members. And what they have been trying is just basically to bring the private capital to invest in this sector. And it's not by providing subsidies, but helping them with some of the resources that they have, and they came from the Department of Federal Resources that came from the Department of Energy, and is using those resources, again, not to subsidize rates in lending, but more to help them engage and provide lending to smaller companies that are interested in improving their energy efficiency. So what they did, for example, is they offer with those funds saying, okay, you are going to lend to this company in a commercial loan. So what about you have a loss reserve of 1%, 1.5% to 2%. I will cover you extra losses up to 7.5% if you lend to these companies so they can do the energy efficiency. So and they also they have been very involved in the CPACE, which is the Commercial Property Access Clean Energy Program, and Connecticut adopted this policy in 2012, was the 26th state to adopt it. And basically it's a policy that allows property owners, small property owners or small companies to finance clean energy improvements on their property. And those improvements will be senior in the debt to any existing mortgage on the property, so they can keep the cost down. So for the commercial properties to add these improvements, and that is for the term of the solar, the panels, or for the life of that solar panel. So the collections, again, they are senior and they come through the real estate tax collection. So I think it's they are doing an amazing job with very limited resources. And now they are going to move, instead of lending for solar improvement or efficiency, they are now going to move toward the battery storage. So again, I think it's one of the best managed banks. They are not a bank officially, they cannot take deposits, they are not FDIC insured, but they are a financial authority. So again, I think that we should be really proud on Connecticut, and New York. It leads together with, I think it's a great thing. And what happened is that sometimes the banks,
I'm on my phone.
All these small loans, and the banks don't want to engage into small transactions. So what they are doing is that they lend themselves, and then they wait and aggregate other smaller transactions, and then they go to the market offering to investors, to pension funds, to say, well, now I have a tranche of 30 million. Are you interested in buying these through securitization? Are you interested in this package of smaller commercial loans that have been improved, and then they buy it? So the idea here is that the investors want to have quickly access, instead of the municipalities having another intermediary just collecting for them. They just want to have access quicker to their funds, so that's what they want to do it now directly. So it's just a little bit more.
Okay. So
Caller one, can you
let's-
identify yourself, please? Caller one, can you identify yourself?
You mean, is that, I think, are you talking about the person that called in by phone? It's Jan Raymond.
Yes, Jan.
Okay, Jan Raymond, okay.
Okay, thank you, Jan.
Yeah, I can't, if somebody can email me the link, then I could come on by Zoom.
I'll email it to you, Jan.
That's all right. We're not going to be on that much longer, so stay on the phone. Really, we're going to be done shortly.
Okay, fine.
Is there
Thank
any
you.
other questions on the CPAC? Okay,
Jack,
if there's,
Jack,
I did have a follow-up question. I may answer your question before you ask it, Mike. There is
Sure.
nobody currently past due. Everyone is covered.
That's it. Thank you.
About 2 minutes after you asked that question, Kathy Larkins responded.
Terrific. I thought so. Thank you, Kathy Larkins.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. She's been wonderful in what she's been answering. So if there's no more questions, are we ready to vote on this?
Yes.
Steve,
Let's have a
we
move.
did properly move this.
Second, Jack.
That's what I was asking. So who's moving it? Stacy, who's second?
Iris.
Iris. Stacy, you can call them out because I only see about 5, 6 people, and one of them is me. All right. All in favor? Just say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
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 Jan, you're in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any
Favor.
against? Good. Any against? No?
No.
Okay, passes. I'm not asking for abstentions. Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to put 5 instead of 4 because it's really a brief comment. For those who listened to the Board of Finance meeting last night, you heard Jamie Stevenson discuss the bonding of fire engines. On the side, I've asked for Jenny to do an analysis, which has really super because she did every single fire engine that we own in town, and took it out like a gazillion years, longer than I'm going to be alive. And yeah, it was out to like 2050 or something. So the other thing was we also have had Louisa and Bert review it. We're now going to take our analysis and kick tires with Kate and Jen. I had a conversation with Jen Janetsky today, and Jamie will be joining us just so that, you know, they can punch holes or make any modifications that we need. Upon that, then we will present it to the 2 boards and to our committee. But let me just say that the preliminary numbers are significant, and that based upon the current accrual methodology, the you know, if we recall, the Board of Selectmen removed about $828,000 from their budget for the accrual this year, $900,000 for the next 2, and over $1 million for the next 2 after that. We don't get to $800,000 in debt service until about 18, 19 years from now. So there's some great advantages to it, but we'll go over that more in depth when we've kicked the tires. Brings me to finalizing the buddy list. There's some people who aren't on, and if you would like to switch, you know, because Bob, you don't like working with Jenny anymore, you can tell me that, we can switch. I'm joking. But I do have input from the Public Works, and so they have reorganized how they're looking at the budget this year in new categories. If you want the details of those areas that are assigned, I'll send it out. Last year's analysis because they have all the items that are listed underneath. But I'm just going to go through it. Anybody wants to add or delete their names, let me know. For land use and permitting, which is the building and the planning and zoning, Dan Bumgarner and Rob Godone are the Board of Finance reps. We have Mike Heitz and Bill Smith. Are you guys both good with that?
Yes. I'm good.
Bill? Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, I'm good. I'm good with it as well.
For community, thank you. There was a delay there. I wasn't sure who answered. For community and environment, for both operating and capital, the Board of Finance members are Taylor and Jim, and you'll see it's different based upon which form I took it off. So that's why they have last names. For us, we have Jenny and Bob. Everybody good with that? Anybody else want to join them? Public Works, we have a very strong team over there. It's Dan Bumgarner, Rob Cordone, Martha Banks, Mark Adeletter. I've spoken to Monica. It will be Monica McNally and Ralph, and I cannot pronounce Ralph's last name. So it's Ralpho. Will be that committee. Martha, I know Mark's okay with that. Martha, are you good with this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. You hear me?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. I just saw that there were all these little notes going on. Yes, I agree. Louisa, that was a wonderful presentation. Parks and Rec, we have Jenny and Bob again, working with Dan and Rob. That's who you worked with last year. I want to speak to James Howe. In the past, he had also been on Park and Rec, and it's not assigned, so I want to see if he would like to join you guys. While I have Adele on the here again, Adele, have you had the opportunity to come up with participants from your committee?
Oh, well, Cheryl Russell and I will do it again, and there may be one other. That's all right?
That's fine with me. It's your committee.
I will let you know.
All right, thanks. So that's the team that they had last year, which is great. General government, I have Iris and Martha, with Martha being spelled improperly. Is that okay with you guys?
Sure.
The Board of Finance members are Frank and Paul. Only because she likes to make sure that she can create some havoc on police. We have, which call it Stacy and Lisa. I'm not saying which of the two like creating havoc.
We already reached out to our buddies
Are both
today.
of you good with
We
that?
got the dream team back together.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
we're
trying to
good.
get somebody from MAC, from Public Health and Safety. As soon as I get it, I'll let you guys know.
Sounds good.
Board of Ed, we have Beth, Peter, and Jan on that committee. Your counterparts are Jay-Z, Frank, and Paul. A new category is school, town, and sewer debt. Jim Palin is assigned to that. I did my own assignment on this. I put down Jenny and Louisa. I didn't know, Bert, if you wanted to join them.
I'm
Bert?
okay not to. I'm fine.
I'm okay. I'd like
You-
to
you-
join another committee.
Do you want to be part of that?
Nope, I'd like to
Okay.
join the,
All right.
what's coming up.
Okay, super. Excess courts and other grants, I have Beth, Peter, Jan, and I and myself in there. I'm assuming since that's basically the education crew, everybody's good with that. I've spoken to Clara. She's probably going to participate from the education, is looking if somebody else from the education committee will be joining you guys. Let's see. Grants and revenue. The Board of Finance is Jay-Z and Frank. I had Bert, Bob, and myself. Is that good for Bob and Bert?
Perfect. Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
You're
I'm good.
welcome. Okay, library, I'm looking for somebody to join me on the library.
I can
Is
do it.
there anybody who,
Louisa raised her hand.
Iris, you want to do it?
Louisa.
Okay,
asked
I'll
her,
put both
but
of you
whatever.
guys down there. No, I'll put both of you, because if I can get out of it, that would be even better. All right. Protective emergency, not counting the police and animal control operating category. I have Stacy and Lisa again, the dynamic duel.
We're good.
I have for human I'm not even asking if you guys are okay. You guys are just to sign that. Human services, I am waiting for, again, somebody from public health and safety on this. On the first one, I have a call into Amy Basanti as well. General on this, on human services, I have Louisa and myself. Is that okay, Louisa?
Yes, fine, perfect, thank you.
On general and miscellaneous, we have Bert by himself. Are you good with that, Bert?
I'm great. Nobody ever knows what's in miscellaneous. There could be a lot in there, but I'm fine with that.
And Bert, we have great confidence that you will figure it out.
Thank you.
And by the way, Bert, we already knew you were great. We were asking if it was great that you were on the committee on that part of the budget.
There's no such thing as miscellaneous. What was that?
On other revenues, I have Bob and myself. Anybody else wish to join us? Hearing none. On fund balance, Palin is responsible for that, Jim. And I have Bert and myself. Is that good?
That is great, Jack, because ultimately everything else comes down to how it ends up in the fund balance.
Correct.
And I'll mention something that Bert and I were even discussing earlier. At the end of the day, this all comes down to the balance sheet. And the fund balance is where everything ends up. You end up taking a good look at the balance sheet. So
Jack,
I agree with Bert on that.
I have a question, and forgive
Yeah.
me, you've already answered this at one point, but one of the budget items that have come up is the unfunded pension liability that we are contributing this year. Do we ever does the RTM F&B ever have anything to do with the pension board or the pension management, or is that completely separate? We never buy into, we never comment on that. Like, do we get to see the performance reports or what's causing the unfunded liability? Or
They should be at the pension they should be at the pension committee's minutes. I do want to make a slight correction. Our pension contribution increased. We are funded at the appropriate level stated by our advisors that we have to do. Some of this change goes back a couple of years because they found out that apparently municipal employees live longer than other people. So the longevity had to be increased. Also, we changed the anticipated growth rate to a lower rate. And I believe there was one other change. So this is part of the catch up on that. I also don't know whether or not we hit our numbers on the investments, not for this year, but for the prior year. So those are the reasons why it's gone up. But I think in one of those areas, pension is there. And if anybody wants to get involved in conversations with the pension, Paul happens to be the Board of Finance representative. Jay-Z previously was the Board of Finance representative on that pension board. But we can arrange for that conversation to occur. I know Bert was also at one time questioning that. And then you, so yes, we can have that conversation on it, but basically they're giving us the numbers. So, but yes, it's worthy of having a conversation. All right, with this, there's one or two people that aren't on. But if anybody wants to be on and not, please let me know. I will be reaching out to those individuals. And if everybody's satisfied with this, I sent out the time frame of which they're looking to have conversations with the at the Board of Finance on these topics. They're really quick. So hopefully later on tonight, and and tomorrow I'll be sending out confirmations to the Board of Finance members saying who their counterparts are via email, and most of you have done this in the past so that you know that they'll arrange the meeting. Only other business I see is approval of the minutes. Can I have somebody move to approve the minutes?
Stacy and Lisa have their hands up.
Thank you.
That works for me.
The only correction I noted, thanks, Jack, is that it is not a special meeting, minutes of a special meeting. It's just a regular meeting. That's the only correction. So I'll drop the reference to special.
Okay, so we are moving the minutes as amended. What's using the same two people. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Anybody against? Hearing none. Anybody abstaining? Hearing none. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So
Jack, I
moved.
have one question before we
So
adjourn.
moved.
Jack?
Okay,
Lisa, I
okay.
have
I'm gonna take.
one question. On the calendar that
Yep.
you sent out, I have a question about Tuesday night next week and Tuesday night the week after, in addition to Saturday tour. Those are all in person, I'm
Yep.
taking it?
May not be. The Board of Finance meeting for the public hearing on the budget is going to be virtual.
Which one
I
is
don't
that?
know how the school is doing. I'm sorry?
Which date is that, the 9th or the
The 9th.
16th. Okay.
The 9th. I will tell you, for any of our meetings going for, there may be some Board of Finance meetings that are being held in person. We'll have to see how that moves forward. I think on the list, they'll have some, I saw some things being virtual. I will tell you my own position. Since we have people of many different age groups in this committee, and not all of them are going to be capable of getting their first and second shots before the start of May. I have no intention of having an in-person meeting for quite some time. I'd rather that our committee stay safe. And besides that, since we can only see everybody's heads, I can't see what drinks you might be having during this.
Thank you, Jack, since
So-
I'm the last one of this group probably to be eligible to get vaccinated.
Yeah, but you'll be the only
I
one here in
wasn't gonna-
2050.
I wasn't going to point that out, Stacy. Just for a joke that Stacy and I talk about, Stacy is 1 year older than my oldest child.
Yeah.
So. Mike, I wouldn't laugh because you had one the same age. It's so
Jack, I was going to
embarrassing.
say you were married, you were 12, right?
There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
Don't we wish?
Yeah, all three of us had this. All three of us had the same kids in the same class. So.
Yep.
Yep.
So anyway, now I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I have Beth and I have
So
Jenny.
moved.
Okay.